Hello, everybody. My name is Jasmine. Restoration Catalyst is who I am, it's my business. And I want to start being consistent, showing up, even when I'm not ready, even when I'm afraid, when I don't feel organized, when my hormones or my mental health or just regular because the day happened, emotions happen. I don't have to, come on, Jesus, help me for the people. I don't have to be perfect, and none of us are. And so we don't have to worry about that. But I will be accountable. I told, oh no, I forgot to remind myself fresh right before coming on of the names. Uh so you know who you are. Um okay. Um so I went and plugged another phone in that I just don't use. It's one of those old phones that don't, so when I go and check on that and hopefully it's charged up, I'll look at the YouTube to find names. So I wanted to shout out someone who was my 100th follower. Thank you so much. I don't know what this all means. Like, I don't know what, like, getting to the individual hundreds does or thousand and stuff like that. I'm not a number chaser. I don't, treating others the way I treat myself. I have not been a profitable godpreneur, woman enterpriser, person who is very skilled and talented to make my own money because I don't see people as dollars. I'm sorry. I don't see you like a number. So while technically we all got to count, and impact only occurs by the multitude, right? There's power in numbers. I want to be focused on the numbers that actually see the people and make us accountable to ourselves and each other. Um, so I had a day, and I'm coming to you live as your melanated matriarch because it is important for me to start somewhere. It is important for me to do it anyway. It is important for me not only to make myself proud, but to be all that I know God created me to be. And I've thoroughly experienced my life to know my existence only benefits me if I benefit you, because all of this really doesn't matter. I'm not about to get into whole so many different types of conspiracy languages and all that stuff, but the point is nothing changes if we don't change. And I'm here now and live also to shout out another person. Again, I'm gonna get my other phone to check the names accurately now, but someone also just shared a lovely comment to a video that I shared in November with the buds growing. And a lot of us do and don't pay attention to the natural cycle or natural calendar of things, meaning so many things are still yet to be understood. But what we can, I hope, agree on is that the way society is structured now is suffocating us, and America is on life support. And the great physician is giving us insight, giving us community. In fact, I strongly believe that COVID was practiced for us to get it together. What were we supposed to learn? What have we been forgetting? COVID showed us that we need to prioritize our ability to eat, and togetherness is how we survive. That I can't save everybody. Perfectionism happens to do this thing. Perfectionism happens to make you feel like, you know what, I can't even start because if I start and I can't do it all, that I can't even finish the thought process because it's very black or white. And the gray area of the world that we live in requires that transition occurs. I'm very big on transition. And so, personally, my belief is that we don't get into our next society, we don't change our world. Culture doesn't evolve until we are ready to not just be brave, but to sit through discomfort. A lot of what has happened over the last 5 years didn't come with a heads up. It didn't come with a battle plan. And so I'm talking about for us on a regular day-to-day level. Okay. I'm not talking about anybody in administrations or in positions of powers or with authority. So now that I'm talking to us here on this level, because we actually do have the tangible day-to-day power to practice the things that we preach, accountability is so important to me because Maybe everybody in a very busy city doesn't say good morning, have a nice day to each other. Maybe everybody everywhere isn't kind. But if that's who you are, if that's what you believe, then do that. Be the nice person. Care is currency. Do that, right? Um, I'm not saying that you are like in front of your eyes, changing the whole entire world by yourself. But I'm saying Jasmine is telling you that we right now are changing the world because I am telling you that one soul matters, one soul worth it. Each person does make the difference because I've now had two encounters in the grocery store. I think I can almost see it from my window. Last month and this month, I interacted with a black man, and it is out of the comfort and the receptiveness of just being able to admit that, hey, this isn't normal. Socializing with a stranger in a store isn't normal, and that's okay. Hi, I'm abnormality. Let's all do something different so that we can get something different. And accountability is so ambiguous right now because what I am struggling with for society to wrestle is that we've all been so conditioned so destructively to upkeep the system created for our consumerism. Our energy is their currency. Um, but when you think about the people, we the people, or people of color, or black people, like the layers, right? I feel conflicted when I see teenagers outside, ruckus, loud, violence, and I want to go to make sure that I can be a witness, an advocate, a voice of safety, something. And then later to know that I still have to chase these kids so that they are safe from the police. But then when I see the police and they're my fellow black people, I am still confused as to how to address society because they're badged before black. And I had to when like I'm really super not breaking down the story in detail, but when all of the activism was calmed down and I finished getting the hugs from the teenage boys and the young teenage girl who was like, oh, I hope you posted it and this, that, and the third, like all of the different young people that were so appreciative of an adult presence who wasn't trying to just wag and tell them how they can or can't exist. When when someone was there for their safety, I had to say to one of the officers I'm familiar with, I was like, yo, bro, remember, me and you were them. And just on Monday, actually, this week, I popped into my building association meeting. I want to show my face. I want to get whatever could potentially be content for us. And I'm grateful because it's spinning the block and it's relevant, actually. What I got out of that conversation with my neighbor, I'm familiar with her, is that the old people force out the young people. The young people resent the old people. Everybody in the middle has absolutely no support whatsoever, right? We're supposed to be saving the kids, protecting the elderly. Everybody in between ain't got no types of where's the hero, right? Nobody's our hero. And so if we're not saving each other and the elderly feels like the kids are their ops and the kids feel like the elderly are their ops, it's just. And so talking with the person I did at my building association meeting reminded me of what I personally feel about there needing to be a culture of mentorship, and not mentorship in the way where it's like, hey, you come here so I could teach you, or what I think is a lot more uncomfortable and shouldn't be placed as a burden, but for the younger or lesser educated to be like, hey, I need help, right? Because when you call for help, who's actually coming to help you, right? So because everybody need a check, because nobody got time, because everybody feel like, I done paid my dues. I really do feel like there is, my chest feels so light when I have this thought. We really just need to focus on the future and the generations that are going to be here and strong and lively and able enough to carry on. the changes that we're talking about, because I don't really care if it's your fault. Everybody over. Yeah, yeah. I mean, and I'm conditioned too. Like every millennials, we are the turning point, but that has a very sensitive age bracket. So I'm gonna say everybody over 45 for sure, for sure. Question mark on the 40. If you're 40, you pushing it. But 45 and up, y'all are from the past. And when I say the past, I mean that every piece of conditioning, chasing wealth, snitching, whatever the mentality is, just this competition, the greed, the resentment, the us versus themness. Like it's just a lot of the complications that need correction includes the people who are still alive from the things that have already been in place for so long. And so the millennial generation, and for those who don't know, because I've seen this actually just within the past week, millennial is an inclusive bracket of elder, us, I don't know if we're called center, whatever, and juvenile. Elder are late Gen Xers, juvenile are early Gen Zers. Gen Y, smack dab in the middle, we're full blood, whole born, raised millennial. But it is the combination of this 40-year span, though, where it is not individual generations, it is a mass collective of a transitional generation for us to take what we have from the past, well, what's been getting created. I don't want to say from us, but you know what I'm saying? Like in the peak of our development. And then for those who are still considered kids when this all happening, millennial is a generation, just so I want to be clear. It's not millennials versus Gen Z or da, da, da. Elder, center, and juvenile millennial is late Gen X, all of Gen Y, and early Gen Zers. Therefore, my point on this whole thing about accountability is that I feel like millennials have the full bracket comprehensive experience view. In fact, look up the Wikipedia page specifically, not just any old thing. I love the Wikipedia page for quarter life crisis. It makes sense. I thought I was making it up when I had my little blog at 25. I was like, ooh, I feel like I'm having a quarter life crisis. Why? If you think of the ideology of a life being 100 years, break it down, right? Quarter life crisis. If you didn't know, I hope, but I'm pretty confident this will bless you. And if this isn't you, if you're not the millennial in question, this is important for you. If you are an elder, right? If you are 45 and up, research the Wikipedia page for quarter life crisis, because I'm pretty sure that somebody thought that y'all was just a bunch of punk weaklings when they came up with the midlife crisis. I'm pretty sure that when the midlife crisis came up, the people in their 80s was looking at y'all like a bunch of, what's wrong with y'all? So every generation goes through something, so we can keep on going through different things until we make it to the promised land or whatever that's supposed to be in earth tangibly, in our lifestyles here in the 21st century. So now that we are in the beginning of the 21st century, accountability for me is about us focusing on creating a plan that will be the change the younger people carry out. They're going to be adults when society is ready to get on board with the program. They're going to be adults when enough of society has transitioned on the planet in a way that allows for them to have more authoritative rule in space. So it's about guiding. It is about accepting. Trying to see if I can turn this into an acronym. Ooh, mentoring, guiding and mentoring is not exactly the same, similar. Guiding, accepting, mentoring, and empowering. That's the game plan. Oh, I love it. Because I promise, whether I'm talking to a person, but definitely when I'm by myself, ideas just be coming just because I breathe. So yeah, the game plan for transitioning American society from everything that was the trauma, the conditioning. If we want to replace the systems that be, if we want to create a new culture, We have to start creating the game plan that entrusts the whole of our American society to the people who are not yet adults, or they're becoming adults. They're like in their like 18, 19. Anyway, my point is the game plan. Guide them, accept them, mentor them, and empower them. When you do all four of those pieces together, you have a person. I'm not even going to put ages to it. You have a person who is not just able and willing to learn, but they're primed for excellence. They're primed for cultivation. They're primed for furthering whatever it is that they got going on. It could be their own ideas. It could be just giving them, putting them on a path. Like, hey, this is the vision. We need you to figure out some things to help bring this vision to pass. The mind is anyway. I'm gonna just get my thoughts wrangled in here and say that the day I've had, the week I've had, and yes, I actually did have a little outline. I had a little outline for, hey, this is what I want to talk about on my first live. But your melanated matriarch is being herself, and if I've learned a lot of different things over the last decade, I know authenticity is, I want to, you know what? Alignment. I was frustrating myself because I wanted to have a little alliteration. And so when the alliteration wasn't authentically happening, alignment is authentic. And authenticity is alignment. So it's not about showing up perfect every time. It's not about always doing things how you think it's right, the right way or whatever. Like today I know I did the right thing. And when all those things were happening and there was a transition point, and like me and a fellow adult Black sister, and I have to shout her out because I met her when she was still a teenager. And so it's just a natural, I love the word, transition of time, that you just genuinely don't care about things until you mature to a certain age. And that exposure, that experience, the mind actually just evolves with age. So now that I've gotten that thought out, I had to, not the officer I mentioned, but the first officer that I saw after like the young girls got away, they you know what I'm saying, and I chatted with him for a hot second, and even though it wasn't a lot of back and forth, I I captured I captured the moment for me, him, and the other officer nearby listening when I made this Black officer hear me say that these are young people. So them doing stupid, dangerous stuff is a part of being young. They need protection. They need to be pushed in the right path, and not, I don't know, put in handcuffs. I don't know. I don't feel like that's a hard concept. But by all means, if the policies that the people in charge impose upon the whole society are followed, the conditioning of the person in authority over me told me to, and so I did it. Let's be clear. I need y'all to hear me. That psychological flaw is how Nazis became what they became. Somebody did what they were told to do. Actually, I don't know, we weren't there, but that's my theory on how slavery started in the first place. Once upon a time, a human told another human to do something. Maybe he asked. Maybe she was like, you know what? Pick up that branch for me. Maybe she was like, yo, pass me that leaf right there, please. However it happened, I think that control, power, greed, dominance all just came from a place of convenience. Because I don't want to do the dishes. But consideration is currency. Care is currency. And when gratitude is our gold, when generosity is our gold, we are on the way to creating a society where the culture isn't cultivating our consumerism. When we're not going to be suffering in a society that just wants to suffocate us. I know that we are capable. I believe, and I'm waiting to see it so that I can say that I know that we are capable of creating a society that's not run on the tearing down of others. But that's based on how much accountability we're going to have personally. Personally. Because one thing I like to say, and I want to wrap this up, we like this phrase, be the change you want to see in the world. As of 2025, here's what I say. Why do we still want it? Change. Period. That's the whole movement. That's the whole movement. That's the whole movement. Change. Period. Do it anyway. And I'm not saying it's easy. I'm gonna go get my other phone so I can shout out the people I said I was gonna shout out. Accountability. Um, doing what you say you're gonna do. Being a person of principle, having some integrity. I mean, I'm just sorry. It's just the way I was made. I just want to encourage, and I think that this is just the sweet spot that God's positioned me in my life at this point. I hope I still know my old password. Um, this was my first photography debut, and coming out of the rubbles of the woman I used to be, being proud to go to a place where marriages are formed, dressed for a funeral. This picture personally depicts how I feel about the US, us, the United States of America. I remember in 2020, I started saying all souls matter. And now I'm thinking about it. I don't want anybody to get too spooky and think, oh my God, our soul. The United Spirit of America is in transition. It may not be a wedding day and it may not be a funeral, but put your black and white on because we need to do it all, okay? This time right now is about transition. We need to be personally accountable to ourselves and each other. If you are a good person, be good and protect your light. Don't waste your energy. Don't lose your light arguing with darkness. Just please, just leave. And I mean, I'm not even going to waste my breath on addressing the other. If you want to say good morning to people, if you feel like, oh my God, people aren't nicer, be the nicer. And it does have an effect. It does. In fact, I'll tell you, when I was in the grocery store, I passed a person. Well, I passed a couple of people who, like, I said something and they was like, hmm. But after I realized that, I was like, literally just interacting with another person can spark a change in energy, right? And in just recognizing that power, I plotted. I was like, you know what? I went and got my milk, and I was like, oh, and that's a whole other theory, but I'm gonna say it now in case it slips through, and it won't. If you live within your means, if you shop for just what you need and not the excess of, ooh, I wish I had this for a whole week or two, so I don't have to go shopping again next week. But anyway, the point is I got my little quart, which was the same price as the gallon. And when I got my milk, I went past that lady. I said, have a good night. And it wasn't a big one. But when she smiled, oh my gosh, the apples of her cheeks were big. Just that spot. And it made me happy, like on such a level that I actually questioned as I finished walking out of that aisle. I questioned, like, wait, did I just use her for my joy? Like, I actually had to question my motives. Like, I know that my plan was to greet somebody else so that I can bring a smile to their face because that's my satisfaction of leaving the house and continuing to be a human on this earth, in this country. But because I wanted to bring a smile to her face, because it was my intention, intentions matter, right? Because it was my intention to make her smile for her benefit, I unexpectedly benefited so much from the smile that I gave her. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, goodness goes around. Goodness goes around. Goodness goes around. It's like, okay, so boom. I think, did the phone die already again? Oh no. I swear I had a better plan than this, but you know what? How about this? Accountability on all parts. For the person who I said, and when I get really like connected with you, I subscribe back. Like, I'm, support is support. Okay. So I was really grateful for the person who was that 100th subscription for me, and for the person who I commented back and forth with on the video where I'm showing the buds that are growing in November. Thank you for your love. And oh, I remember. Okay, this is didn't remember your name, but I did comment that I would sing a little something for you. So this is how I bring it full circle. And if those two viewers, if you, the two that I'm talking about, if you watched this live or the replay, if you watched, then the shout out is felt. Um, so now that I'm about to wrap up, we've been on for 25 minutes. I'm about to go eat because it's after 6 and I didn't. I just want to be myself and teach everybody else to help. The makings of the matriarch of America. All right, I'm gonna wrap up here. Instagram, YouTube, all of the platforms, Restoration Catalyst. I have an Instagram specifically, Make America Whole Now. Follow me, support, thanks, share. Oh, and I just got on Threads, loving Threads. Make America Whole Now. You want to hear just the America's matriarch side of me more. The Restoration Catalyst. I have multiple platforms. My book on Amazon. My book, paperback and ebook, is called Fixing Your Tiara, Finding You in Him. I can definitely say that being royally restored, getting your healing, strength, and peace, honing your relationship with God, really locking in with your whole self is such a necessary, healthy, critical thing to do. Get to know thyself and join the journey of saving our society, making America whole, being a catalyst for your restoration and the restoration all around us. Have a good rest of this week. It's March. It's almost spring. Happy Black Heritage Year. Melanated March has begun. Africana April is next. I don't know. Look, we're still workshopping names, but happy Melanated March. Thank you for watching, listening, subbing, sharing. And I appreciate you considering and even adding. Support the thoughts. If we want to change society, if we want to create the new world, we got to work together. Think about it. Let me know your thoughts. And I appreciate you. Your melanated matriarch.